Hello, McFluffy52 here, back with some more Phyrexia All Will Be One action, and today we're playing an evil deck because we're playing Karn Control, or at least that's what I'm calling it, because, well, the ultimate goal here is to get planeswalkers onto the battlefield and emblem them as fast as possible. We have a couple different ways to proliferate, but we're using a very tried and true strategy of playing planeswalkers and playing sweepers, and just sweeping the board, keeping our planeswalkers around, keep ticking them up. But we also had some fun cards that proliferate from Phyrexia All Will Be One. We got, first off, Staff of Completion. We can pay life to do a variety of things. This can be a mana rock if we want to pay 2 life to generate 1 mana of any color, so this can help fix our mana colors if we happen to not have the lands that we need. We can also use it to, the biggest part is pay 3 life, proliferate. If we want to, we can go up to paying 4 life to draw a card, which is also kind of nice. We can tap it for 5, and then we can also destroy a permanent we control. I don't know why that would be relevant, but we have that option. We have Experimental Augury as a nice cantrip card that can also proliferate. We get to look at the top 3 cards of our library, put the best one, or whatever one that we want, into our hand, and the rest on the bottom of our library in any order, and then we proliferate. We also have a very sick combo that I saw somebody else do where we have Cankerbloom. This card's pretty nice in the sense we can destroy artifacts, enchantments, and then lastly we can go ahead and proliferate. Now we also have Melira, and the idea is, well, Melira's ability here is, first off, we can't get more than 1 poison counter a turn, which is nice, but the ability that we plan to use in conjunction with Cankerbloom is exile Melira, the Living Cure, and then choose another target creature or artifact. When it is put into the graveyard this turn, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So if we have Melira and Cankerbloom, we can exile Melira targeting Cankerbloom, we can sacrifice Cankerbloom for 1 mana, proliferate, it comes back to the battlefield, and do that again. So we can go ahead and proliferate twice in 1 turn, and if we can go ahead and do that, and we have Tamiyo out there, we can go ahead, get it up to 7, and then immediately get Tamiyo's Notebook, which makes all of our spells 2 less to cast, and then we can tap it each turn to draw ourselves a card. Very nice. We also have Wandering Emperor here, which can put counters on things. Those are pretty nice to proliferate. Wandering Emperor also just a really good card on its own. And then lastly, our last planeswalker of choice is Karn, Living Legacy. If we get the ultimate off, it can be pretty oppressive. If we have like at least a small handful of artifacts, we can just keep on paying down whatever the opponent happens to put out, or we can just ping down the opponent over a course of a series of turns. I just thought this card, I've always wanted to try and emblem Karn. We've built like 1 or 2 decks with Karn, where we tried to emblem Karn. The emblem is very annoying to use, and it's honestly not that strong, but the idea is hopefully we'll get able to get it out. We have 1 last card that will help us with the whole Planeswalker plan. This card I haven't actually built any decks with yet, so it's been fun to try and use it in this deck. The first chapter is we get, well, first off, it's a read-ahead saga, so we can go ahead and pick like the 2nd and 3rd chapter if we want, but the first chapter we get to scry for, and then may reveal the top part of our library if it's Planeswalker, or if a Planeswalker is revealed this way, put it into your hand. So we can look at top 4, put the Planeswalker on the top, and then reveal it and draw it, which is nice. Well, technically it's not a draw, so that is nice. Another nice thing is it says put it into your hand rather than draw, because Shieldred and Shieldred and Shieldred, they're like half the decks you'll meet play Shieldred, right? So that's important. But anyways, second chapter, we can put a Planeswalker card with mana value 6 or less from our hand onto the battlefield. So we can go ahead, put Tamiyo, we can put Karn, we could put the Emperor down for free, while also getting the Saga out there. And then lastly, the 3rd one says you may activate loyalty abilities of planeswalkers you control this turn twice rather than once. So another nice thing is this is a saga. So if we get a planeswalker out, if we play Urza Assembles the Titans, and then we proliferate the saga after using its 2nd chapter, we read ahead to the 2nd chapter, we put a planeswalker out there, we proliferate. So we proliferate another counter onto Urza Assembles the Titan, as well as our planeswalkers. Say we put Tamiyo out there, for instance. We proliferate Tamiyo, and we proliferate Urza Assembles the Titans. Alright, well, Tamiyo's up to 6, and then we can activate it twice, And then also Urza Assemble, well yeah, because Urza Assembles the Titans goes to its third loyalty ability, which means we can activate it twice. So if we have basically a single proliferate with this and one of our good planeswalkers, we can go ahead and ultimate them immediately, which is nice. But let's go ahead and see how we can do with this kind of evilly control-y, sweep the board, and play planeswalkers. I will admit we're not necessarily choosing the best planeswalkers to run here in terms of Tamiyo is actually pretty good. Like Wandering Emperor is pretty good, but Karn is not so good. So this will be a little bit of an uphill battle. But hey, I think this deck is pretty fun if you can get to the planeswalker fun. We're running one Dryad's Revival, so we can return like a Farewell from our graveyard to our hand. We'll go ahead and keep this hand. And just hope our opponent is not too aggro. We also have some of the new lands. There will be a full deck pick at the end of the video, so if you're interested in that, stick around. Additionally, if you enjoy arena videos, consider subscribing because we try and make a new video every single day. And we try and make interesting and unique decks, so hopefully some of the stuff you see here is stuff that you might not have seen before or on any other channel. Alright, I think we're just gonna keep slow going. Oops, no, I do not want to attack. I was gonna have a hard time removing this Melira if we're able to keep growing it. If they play with fire and they go in with the etching of Kamana, we'll have a bit of a rough time, but I'm willing to sacrifice Melira, I think. Actually, you know what? 4 damage isn't too crazy. And then we are requiring them to use a lightning strike, which is a little bit harder to come by. It would have been nice to remove the etchings because now we're gonna have probably another attacker coming down. No, a Voldarian. Okay, they're stuck on one land. They're probably gonna try and use this blood token soon to find another land. Yeah, it looks like our opponent probably had to play with fire. We're just gonna play Urza Assembles the Titans. Pick it up for the first chapter. Oh no, we need a land. Wandering Emperor is good, but it's not that good. I don't know what's in there. Okay, I guess we're sending a message to our opponent. Oh, that's too funny. Reveal, just flash them. Just flash them to depopulate for no reason. I guess since we said there was a sweeper coming, they're gonna go all in. I mean, we do kind of need an answer. I don't think we really have an option besides sweeping and hoping they don't have a haster. It is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Well, Urza Assembles the Titan at least helped us find Depopulate, I guess, in a way. We would have been dead without it. Going against mono red is quite rough. Ah, that's probably what they were holding in their hand when they were trying to get us to block with the Melira. Well, if we blocked with the Melira, I don't know if that would have changed the outcome of that game that much. Because we would have stopped, like, 2 damage, and then we would have gotten that card out of their hand. I don't know. We may have survived at least one more turn, but, I mean, they pretty much had us dead to rights. See. Stefan look cool. or Steven. To populate in 3 lands is pretty good. You just need to be able to survive. Survive for that many turns. You at least have Broker's Ascendancy on 3, which is something. Oh, great. It's a toxic deck and we didn't find our Melira. And they probably have a million indestructibility spells. Alright, well, I will say this game is lost. But we can hope. Counter spell? Are you actually running counter spells? I haven't seen anyone running March of Burgeoning Life in a while. Alright, do you have the turn 3 kill? They don't have the turn 3 kill. Well, you're gonna have to kill me before this enters the battlefield. Yeah. Holy moly. I will say I've only played this deck on the ranked ladder. So I was 50-50 before I started recording. Lost 2, won 2. Our opponent had a nice start there. They would have countered the sweeper, they would have countered Melira. Okay, this is good. If we run up into a Selesnya toxic deck, we have a serious chance of just winning, thanks Melira. Okay, we're not running into a Selesnya toxic deck. Well, Melira dodges the cut down they might have in their hand. We can go ahead and throw it out there. We have to be very careful about using this staff, because we're probably going to die to it. We're not careful. Do we want to Besage you? I think maybe we Besage you here. Nah, we need the land. We need the land, damn it. We can't Besage you. If we give away this land, we don't have Farewell in any sort of reasonable time. We probably can play like a card and... Oh no. We're just drawing. It's like a good sign, but also a bad sign. Because they could just be drawing straight up to a, They could be drawing straight up to... Last 2 attackers. Just experimental augury, trying to find a land. Yeah, Desert Beach sounds nice. Submit 0. My turn. No, we can't play anything. We need to just hold up. Hold up, Wandering Emperor. Exile this bad boy. Hopefully our opponent's not playing Golgarian and just needs a green source. That might actually be the reason they're drawing so aggressively. A fight spell would make us cry. Does our opponent not want to run into the Emperor? No, they don't. Okay, well, in that case, we can go ahead and just play it. And create ourselves a 1/1, or a 2/2 rather.
Feel the energy of battle, then guide it like water. May your
And then we can play Broker's Ascendancy and everything we will have will grow bigger. That's fine. Could play this, use 2 life to play the other one, or play Broker's Ascendancy, which doesn't sound too bad. Not that high of a cost to get Broker's Ascendancy and Staff out on the same turn. And then we can play Farewell next turn.
we must protect the people.
So we might be saying goodbye to to our planeswalker here if they go in with the obliterator, because there's no reason to block. Because if we block, we lose our entire board. That's fine with us.
Until next time, then.
Another obliterator. Alrighty. This gives us good reason to farewell. Could also do this. Pay 4 life, draw a card. Do we draw into? Saga Completion is a very strange and fun card. We can't even really attack in, so goodbye creatures, goodbye graveyards, and goodbye artifacts. It was nice knowing you, staff. Just remove basically everything that is relevant to them. And then we can start anew with our planeswalkers. Back to Shiro. Maybe we shouldn't have gotten rid of graveyards because we would have been able to return the stuff. Actually, no, we exiled it from our battlefield. I'll play this. I mean, we can also just do this. We create a token, the token and Melira get +1 counters from Broker's Ascendancy, and our Planeswalker gets another loyalty from Broker's Ascendancy. We keep going. Keep grinding. So hey, that wasn't too bad after losing one or two there. It does feel very mean though. The whole plan of playing Planeswalkers and sweeping, and it makes for very long games. So that's why I did have like a Broker's Friends deck, where it was like Super Friends with Broker's Ascendancy deck previously, but I haven't played a lot of it just because it's just a very slow way to win games. It can be fun, but Cankerbloom. We got mana for and to depopulate in hand, so this is probably not a bad hand to keep. Not a bad hand to keep. Melira is nice. Urza though. What is our opponent up to? I would love to know. Well, we got mana for Depopulate coming up. Nice thing is Melira is multicolored, so we can draw cards off of Depopulate. Another kind of fun feature, I guess. Urza can help us find a Planeswalker eventually. Children's Edict. That's strange. You want to play that way? You want to play that way? Do you want to play that way? We can blow up your Lion Slash. Better have a double removal spell. Oh, Sarah Paragon. Okay, that will do. Uh, doesn't matter what we do here. I don't think so. You'll need our farewell to exile their graveyard with a Sarah Paragon, though, unfortunately. We have not found any blue sources. Felt like now I recall, yeah, I did kind of overload on the green and whites when I was making the mana base. Uh, because we'll play Urza. We can Sparras next turn. Or sorry, yeah, Sparras and Brokers eventually next turn. Scry 4. Ooh, Planeswalker, that can go in our hand. Ringroot Cascade, yeah, that sounds nice. Experimental Augury, that can go in our next turn. Yeah, this seems good. I like all the cards for the most part. Reveal. The Melira is maybe like the least useful one. I could have probably put that one to the bottom, but we're not too sad to be drawing it, I don't think. Put Tamiyo down.
I am the hand that chronicles Phyrexia's rise.
We can return Cankerbloom actually with our son of a boop. That is obnoxious. No, this Urza goes to waste. Black, the color of endless fuck yous and removal. I gotta find a freaking card. Yeah. Activate your loyalty of your planeswalkers twice. Urzas or expand the sphere? Let's go expand the sphere here, honestly. Because some lands would do us well. Some blue sources. Alright. Answers. We need answers. Tacked in with it tapped. Very interesting. I'm gonna go put this out here and then use it immediately because our opponent likes to kill our things.
I'm not overconfident.
Get out of here, Steel Sarah.
You're
I don't
just
know why they didn't give it vigilance. It's not like they needed to gain the life. They could have saved
my
themselves from
judgment
that.
is
Oh my god, opponent. Removal. Chill out, it's okay. Melira is not gonna hurt you. I promise you. Melira won't hurt you. Bonk. Your own Wanderer? Farewell. Interesting. Alright, find the card we need for this situation. Ooh, Karn. Okay. Come on. I just want to play Karn. Opponent, will you let me have my Karn? Next turn, we can search really deep in our library with Karn. Tablet of Compleation. Strange. Alright, we're gonna do this. It's not very attractive, but we'll go ahead and pay 5, 6, 7 mana into this or something, and then search into our library for a card. Ooh, Tamiyo sounds nice. So, Experimental Augury does also sound nice. I think Tamiyo is more relevant. We're probably not going to be able to keep this Karn. That is like actually the most useful ability on Karn is the -1. You can dig through your library pretty deep for different things. Pay any amount of mana, look that many cards deep into your library. We'll go ahead, draw a card, I think. Ooh, tablet's cool. Play this.
as sure as the moon rises.
Yeah, that thing doesn't untap.
Shall Phyrexia
And we get a Power
not be
Stone.
denied.
And then next turn we can proliferate, or we can proliferate with our Cankerbloom and get Tamiyo up to 7 loyalty, and we can also proliferate with the staff if we want. So we might draw into something useful as well. Okay, I take that back. We did not draw into anything useful. We go ahead and play this. We actually get to ultimate both of our planeswalkers. Proliferate. We could have attacked in first, but it is what it is. Submit. Proliferate. Submit. And or get our notebook. Draw a card.
Every story leads to the rise of Phyrexia.
Ooh, farewell is nice. Emblem. We're doing what we came to do. Emblem Karn. It's not gonna necessarily mean much, I don't think, but opponent gets to untap with their tablet. Tamiyo is sticking around though. They could go in with their Urza or Mishra's factory. Or what is it? I don't really want to hover it. Ah, they found it. They found it. We don't actually have any land removal now that I think about it. Too bad we didn't get to keep any artifacts up to tap down that, but we can draw a card next turn. With this, draw into another land. That's unfortunate. Alright, well, can't really farewell artifacts here, so we're just gonna hold up our stuff. By our stuff, I mean our Karn emblem, and our Otwara, which can bounce something. No attacks? My turn. Populate, alright, that's not really what we want either. Oh, we should have, my bad. I completely forgot of one thing that I should have done there, which is, at the end of their turn, ping them with our stones. Alright, well now we get a new stone every single turn, and we can go ahead and hold everything up. Now, they will be able to get their tablet up to drawing cards territory soon. This is the annoying part about Karn's ultimate, is it very low to use. Every single damage you have to go ahead, click the thing, click your target, and click the artifact you want to use. But it is fun. Alright, draw a card. That is a pretty useless land. You know what we'll do? We'll go ahead, pay 1, 2, 3, 4 mana into this or something. 5. No, 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 no! Ah! Those were important! Why did you tap those game? The lands are the most useless thing here. Oy, oy, oy. Alright, well, we still have 2 damage here with these. We'll play out the land, hold up our 2 tablets. Why did you tap the lands? I forgot the auto tappers mean. Our opponent will probably be able to draw into an answer to our Karn here shortly, but that is how it is. Go ahead, roll a card now with their tablet. They're down to 35 cards, we're down to 23. We're gonna deck ourselves before our opponent does. Alright, we tap this, we do the things. We would have had 5 damage here if it wasn't for the fact that the auto tapper thought it would be a good idea to use all our power stones to pay into Karn's ability. My turn. I guess I could just, yeah, that's what we'll do. Go ahead, play this for 1 mana. Destroy target artifact. Boom. Stop tapping the artifacts! Those are kind of important to the whole us winning the game. We will tap this though. We'll hold that up. We need to hold up 2 white mana. Well, we have 2 white mana over there. Pay 5 into Karn's ability here. Go ahead, find ourselves. Yes, use the mana that we found here, Urza. And then we'll hold up Urza until next turn. We want to be able to ping down this Mishra's Foundry if they ever go for it. Or actually just exile it with Wandering Emperor.
I'm home. Guards, to me.
If they choose to give it a +1/+1 counter with the Wandering Emperor, we will go ahead and that's fine. We don't need Karn here, really. We have basically everything we could need. Alright, you choose to put +1 counter on it, so it's going to die. I guess we could have gotten rid of their planeswalker here with Karn's emblem as well. Well, no. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and go for there. This is the problem with Karn's emblem. It's so slow.
It's
It's so
gone.
slow to do anything.
Hmm.
Oh,
Watch out. I never give up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Come in. You have your Wandering Emperor? Well, guess what? Oh my goodness, Karn is such a silly Planeswalker ultimate. It's so messy to try and finish out the game with it, but it is hilarious sometimes. That was the power of the proliferate things that we've gotten in the recent set that helped us get those ultimates so fast. Yeah, we got the Tamiyo's notebook that made everything cheaper for us, and then we also had the Karn ultimate that, well, basically allowed us to kind of control the end of that game. It is a lethal sauce part of this deck. Alright, opponent goes first. I mean, we have the depopulates and some like creatures to play out, so maybe this will be okay. I'm I'm nervous, as I should have been. This is pretty much a done deal, I think. Melira is gonna die as soon as we play it, and we don't have an untapped land. We put two Sea-Chrome coasts and two of the untapped uh or the fast lands, two of each of the white and green and white and blue fast lands, but I don't think it's gonna save us here. Our opponent doesn't actually seem to be toxic here. They just seem to be mono black aggro. So in that case, we'll go ahead and play out Melira, I think. So Melira can trade with Gix, I guess, and then if we get Cankerbloom down here, we can double proliferate potentially. Yeah, there goes the removal. Good game. That's quite the attitude to have. I mean, the game is close to over. I'll give them that, but it's kind of rude to be like a good game. You already lost, fool. When we just clearly went second, and you haven't even actually murdered us. I try in good game if it's like my win next turn, but they're not winning next turn. We put all those white sources in this deck, and we still have failed to find a single. Remember last game where we found like no blue sources? Well, this game we're making up for it. We got the triple Dreamroot Cascade. Thank goodness we found a white source. Ay ay ay. That's retribution for that last game where we tortured that poor opponent. They're like, they tapped down all their artifacts. We can get in with the Mishra's Foundry, and then we play our own Wandering Emperor. That card is unreal. Especially when it costs 2 mana thanks to your Tamiyo's notebook. Oh my goodness. MJF0. Oh, one lander. You know what they say, one land, one keep. This hand is really good if it wasn't for the fact that we don't have lands. Double Wanderer doesn't seem that useful. We just need to find lands. Oh, it was a good game. We get to play against mono red and they get to go first. And we have tap lands and only a turn 4 sweeper. No creatures. It's funny how mono red can actually just draw so many cards. And when I say draw, I guess I mean a little bit more figuratively in the sense that, okay, they can play like a million effects that exile the top couple cards of their library so that they can keep going. Oh yeah, I forgot that I'm recording with the mic in my headset, and so sorry if I just made a whole ton of noise. Um, well, we're gonna have to choose one or the other anyways. Let's pretend like we have something. Do nothing till turn 4 is a very dumb strategy, but sometimes it works, and then sometimes it doesn't. End the festivities. Ooh, that's good. Play out a creature. We'll take it. Everything that we can sweep away is ideal. No, we need the land, so one of these two. Brushland is nice, but it's a pain land. But it does give us flexibility eventually. Let's just get the Boseiju. Alright, how many hasters do you have left in hand? Or do you have a lightning strike? I wonder if these are people who have they're broken after trying to play standard realistically and have turned to mono red. I know that I've been thinking about, you know what if we just tried out mono red, you know? What if I actually played a tiered deck? It was very funny. One thing I thought about doing today was playing elves, an elf tribal deck, because I saw um Saffron Olive did a video on the elf ball in standard, or is what he likes to call it. Um, and I was like, elves would be fun. He was playing like a budget deck with only like 12 rares and 4 mythics. Um, and it actually did okay. But, but I was like, what if we tried like he was playing mono green elves, well, basically mono green elves. Had some treasure tokens to help him potentially kick a few of the green elves because there are some like kicker elves that can help you do some things. But ooh, what is our opponent up to? Hmm, so they just want to trade. All right, I'll take it. Play out this. Next turn we have to populate if we really wanted to. Rootwire Amalgam. Fortunately, no planeswalkers yet. Do we want to Igonjo it? I mean, they have protection spells. There's probably no reason to. Farewell will be able to deal with anything. Any green protection spells that they might be playing. Looks like our opponent is trying to go big in green, which I like to forgive. Uh, Please forgive me, opponent, for doing this. Bonk. They tapped out, so they had no protection spells left. I do feel bad every time I see Gwenna die. It's like Gwenna is such a nice card in green for potentially drawing into something. Could we Dryads renewal and get this to populate back and then exile everything? That is true, we could with the help of the staff, I think. No, we couldn't. Do we want to go ahead and just exile everything? My opponent still has stuff. I would like to draw a card, but I want to just pay a bunch of life and draw a card. And then do nothing. Urza. Can we afford to play down Urza here? Will we die is the question. There's a chance we die. We take those chances. Okay, I like this. I do really like this. Yeah, let's go with this. Melira, you're not actually that useful here, I don't think. Another farewell seems nice though. Reveal, draw this. If we survive this turn, we win. Sort of. Put this down. And then I guess what we can do instead is go ahead, play this, exile this. Tamiyo plus the Wanderer is pretty gross because you can kind of just lock down the opponent's board. Oh, we can actually ultimate Tamiyo here. That is something we could do. Proliferate. Ouch. Maybe we don't go ahead and do that yet. Just put this down, and then I guess we can return our Urzas with our Tamiyo here eventually. I'm just gonna go ahead, pick up again, tap down this, and end our turn. We could have Dryad's Revival to pick up to populate. That would have been smart, maybe. 9 loyalty on our Tamiyo, so we can easily notebook without any fears. We are down to 5 life because we paid so much life with our staff for drawing and mana purposes. The staff of completion does add a bit of spice to this deck, because you're just like, is it worth it? Like, there is a certain amount of fun to it, just paying life puts you on edge. The adrenaline junkie. Our opponent here, realizing Tamiyo is going to be doing things next turn, gonna make it hard for them to overcome everything. And we can ultimate Tamiyo. We can -7 Tamiyo for the notebook. And if we want to, we can pay like 3 or 4 life, whatever it is, to proliferate again with the staff and also exile their Scrap Gorger. Ooh, Defiler Vigor, that is... We do also just have Farewell. That is something. We can just do this. Farewell Creature. Or we could depopulate. That's true, we can depopulate. Farewell seems nice. Alright, well in that case we'll go ahead and just Farewell Creatures. I don't even think we need to get rid of graveyards here, because we can actually benefit from graveyards. Everything is super cheap. Draw a card. Play a staff. I think I might just go ahead and revival back Urza. And no, we will not pay life to cast that. This is one nice thing, is with the Broker's Ascendancy and Wonder, we can just poop out more and more soldiers each turn, because Soldier is just a -1. We get a new one, and then we can -1 again, and then we can do it again. It would be nice to hit a proliferate spell. Farewell is only going to cost us 4 mana. Crazy. That is crazy. But if we can hit a proliferate spell, what we can do here is we can actually tap the Vorik with Tamiyo and then exile it with Wanderer. That is like the really nice combo. The controlling aspect of what we can do here. Our opponent could eventually cast a Nissa here, which would be a little rough. So maybe we just farewell, say goodbye to the opponent's board, and play out Assembles the Titans. This does leave us with 3 mana. You know what the heck? Let's do this real quick. Also draw.
Strike fast and strike hard.
Could have tapped down one of their creatures here, which would have been smart because we would have guaranteed a bit of a trade here, and we would have kept our soldier. But at the same time, I mean, do we really need to cast Farewell here is another argument, but we can always like try and return Farewell with our Dryad's Revival again. So we have like plenty of turns of Farewell ahead of us. That is something to think about. At the same time, I'm kind of worried. This is mean, but mean is the machine. Let us find our... No, that is not exactly what we wanted. Alright, we'll just shuffle all this way. Decline. There's no need to reveal that. Submit 0, end turn. Alright, so we can farewell our opponent again by just Dryad's rivaling. So we have our opponent sort of on lock here for a little while. Though, I wonder if we go into full control on our upkeep, will we be able to draw or try and find a planeswalker with this experimental augury before we hit the counter on the Urza Assembles the Titans. Clay Champion, I get a massive Clay Champion, but we can just tap it down and remove it. So there's not much of a hope here, I don't think. Yeah, we can draw a card with this. Resolve. And then draw. And then draw. No, not what I wanted. Alright, whatever, it's main. Don't have a planeswalker, unfortunately. We'll just do this. Bye. Sorry, Clay Champion. This feels mean. This feels mean.
Almost sad to see you go.
Get some lands. Actually, we don't want to put the cycle land onto our battlefield because we can potentially cycle it eventually. Sounds nice. I think we'll proliferate everything besides our Burger's Ascendancy is actually not. Yeah. Sorry, opponent. We do kind of have a bit of a board control established here with just the Broker's Ascendancy and the Planeswalkers means that you have basically minus gas for like a while, so you can like tap exile. Especially once we get the second Broker's Ascendancy, if they play one creature a turn, we can just exile that creature every single turn. So yeah, once we get the second Broker's Ascendancy down, I wouldn't blame them for conceding. It would be very hard for them to kill us. We paid a lot of life there, but it was enough to just like paying that life was fine because we got to a point where we established complete and utter board control. We're gonna play one more here, see if we can boost our win rate just a little bit here, because well, currently we're kind of negative for the time being. Karn, Alright, to populate, and these cards is actually quite good. Farewell, we'll go ahead and get rid of that. I should have gotten rid of the experimental augury. That's a little silly. My opponent here, I wonder if they're another kind of jank player, because they've clearly played enough to get themselves the porcelain might, so they're level 50 on the battle path, and they're still in plat like I am. I've been playing too much jank to really rank up. Okay, so we have the proliferate creature combo set up. Do I want to attack? Sure. I do love me a spirited companion, so I respect that. My Ganjo, that's a good card. Or are you just playing mono white now? I don't think people run spirited companion in mono white. Or like a true mono white control. We're willing to take a small beat here from our opponent. I'm going to sacrifice the Cankerbloom to get rid of their Restoration by Ganju because I don't really want them ramping. I could have sacked Melira to keep it alive, but Melira is kind of nice. Interesting. Might just do this here first, and then next turn we can cast the Populate. Don't really mind the, I think our opponent here is probably just playing Annex Sentry as a budget Brutal Cathar. I don't think the poison is going to be relevant here. Now we can go ahead to populate, get our Melira back, and then this turn we get a +1 counter on it thanks to Burger's Ascendancy. Opponent cycled through a found other deck. Oh my goodness, 71 cards? Okay. I didn't expect that. Alright, we're gonna go play Cankerbloom here. So hopefully we get a counter on our creatures with Burger's Ascendancy. Though they could have an Emperor here. They do have an Emperor. Ah, that is unfortunate.
I've learned much during my travels.
Okay, they are not just white, they are multicolor.
My judgment is
A
fine.
multicolor 80 card deck. Interesting. Or, sorry, they're Azorius. Does make me wonder a little bit. What is their grand plan here? They can take up Emperor on it. It's a 3 first strike.
I have got new moves to
I
teach
suspect they're going to use that crowbar to blow up our Roger's Ascendancy, which will be quite sad. This is not really what I want to be finding, but we'll go ahead and take this. Staff of Completion, that's nice, because we can draw cards with it. Are you willing to defend your Wandering Emperor? They are. Okay. Citizen's Crowbar, used to defend. Playburger's Ascendancy. We got 2 online. This Cankerbloom's getting big. Getting big. We're not really built around pumping up our creatures the whole time, but it does work.
Try not to miss me.
They're a little afraid of the 7/6 that they would have to just chump block on repeat. Go ahead, pay 4 life, draw a card. We have enough life at the moment. Oh my goodness, can we find a card? Don't really mind going ahead and... Urza, okay, this works. Commit 0. Urza, find us the action. Scry us the action. Alright, that we will take. Huh. We can actually get Tamiyo down this turn and get Tamiyo proliferated this turn, or get counters with Broker's Ascendancy thanks to Tamiyo this turn. So that is something we can do here. We definitely want to put Tamiyo at the top. Maybe we put Boseiju here next turn, or actually we can get Cankerbloom next turn. Sounds good. Reveal, proliferate, submit one, put Tamiyo down. Dude, the proliferate cards are so
Go,
funny with
share the story of Phyrexia with your people.
so funny with the Urza Assembles the Titans. Alright,
Such
Tamiyo's
imperfect
gonna be
precision.
able to give us a notebook next turn if Tamiyo sticks around. Does our opponent run Fateful Absence? No, they don't. Alright, we just win off of the Tamiyo. Dang. This this staff, I honestly it's been so much fun playing with this staff. I have to say. That sounds bad out of context, doesn't it? Alright, well, let's go ahead and take a look at the deck here. Karn Control. This deck honestly can be a lot of fun to play with. Just messing around with planeswalkers. We are a Super Friends deck. It means we're gonna have some slow games and some like maybe messy wins, but it can be a lot of fun to play with, I will say. And so the cards that we're running a bunch of new cards actually here. Surprisingly, we're running two experimental auguries. So, or sorry, not two. We're running four of them for 2 mana. It's an instant that looks at the top three cards of your library. Put one of them in the hand, and the rest in your bottom of the library in any order. Proliferate. So this helps us dig into our deck, find our planeswalkers, find our best cards, so that we can go ahead, play them, and then also helps us when we have those cards out there to instead go ahead and proliferate and to get them to their best parts, which are generally the -7s here, right? If we get -7 Karn, we're looking pretty good for like the future turns to really take some serious control of the game because we have like the staff and maybe like two power stones out there, then our opponent really doesn't stand much of a chance in terms of playing out a bunch of dorks or keeping their planeswalkers around because we can just use the emblem on their turn to respond to whatever. If they have a man land, we kept up holding kept up holding up our artifacts so our opponent couldn't attack in with their man land. And then we also had, Wandering Emperor going around. We saw the power of Tamiyo's notebook, so proliferate here. It's good stuff. Cankerbloom, similarly, very good stuff for the proliferate, and then also nice because we can go ahead and get rid of those pesky artifacts and enchantments. It's a 3/2, so it's a decent body when it comes to trading. Um, and then Melira, are you sick of those Selesnya poison decks running around? Well, Melira's got your back, sort of. If Melira can stick around, you're only going to be taking one poison counter each turn, so you have to worry less about the fact that they're swinging in with a bunch of 1/1s that are basically 2/2s, and you can just worry about the damage that you're taking normally for the most part. So that is one nice thing. If you can get Melira out there and get it to stick around, it's a huge favor against those decks. And then the Exile can work really well in tandem with Cankerbloom because then you can go ahead and use Cankerbloom's ability twice and go ahead and deal with the two artifacts or enchantments. But most importantly, if we can get these two in combo or like together, we can go ahead and double proliferate, which can be pretty explosive with any of our planeswalkers. Also, Urza's Assemble the Titans, it's a saga. Sagas have lore counters, so you can go ahead and proliferate those lore counters to get to the further chapters, which is huge. We saw it in that last game there. And then Melira is also a 3/3 for 2, so it's a really good body. Dryad's Revival, we kept one of these in the deck, and it actually kind of came in handy in one of our games where we were able to go ahead, if we wanted to. Well, we did actually use it once. We used it to return a Farewell into our hand, so we go ahead and keep up the Farewell lock on our opponent's board, while also getting our Planeswalkers to do their things. Burger's Ascendancy, this card is a lot of fun if you get it to stick around. It is like you take a turn off on turn 3, so it does feel bad in that regard. Again, yeah, this deck is is a bit of more jank in the sense that you need to be able to really survive to turn 4 without doing much of anything. If you can survive to turn 4 without doing much of anything against your opponents, then you stand a chance of just completely taking over the game and making your opponent's life kind of miserable, unfortunately for them. But Broker's Ascendancy, though, can be helpful as like another win con because you just pump out a samurai token each turn, and that samurai token grows at the end of each turn thanks to the Broker's Ascendancy. Two Staff of Completion. I love these. Yeah, it's a really rough into like if you're playing it in mono red, this card is pretty useless. But if you can go ahead and give yourself another matchup, this might be the card that ramps you into that farewell a bit earlier than you should have, draws you into that farewell that you earlier than you should have, or I feel like it fills the gaps and makes the game a lot of fun to play because you're just like, is it worth to pay the life? And then you're sitting there at 10 life, just like hoping the opponent doesn't have any hasters. Very intense, but fun way to play the game. And honestly, this card does a lot better than I thought it did. But I think this is probably one of the best decks for the card because of the ability for it to ramp into those sweepers, fix mana for those sweepers, while also drawing you those cards when you're trying to get another sweeper into your hand or something like that. I get another answer into your hand for whatever the opponent's doing, and then also can proliferate your planeswalkers. This card, though, I will say works even better with one particular card that we are not playing, and it's a planeswalker known as Teferi. I don't happen to own the multicolor one, do I? Teferi, who slows the sunset. Teferi's +1 ability works really well with the Staff of Completion because you can go ahead, well, it gains you life, so you can keep on stalling the fact that Staff of Completion is removing your life. So you can gain 2 life, and then you can untap the Staff of Completion so you can activate it twice a turn, which can be pretty huge. So yeah, it works really well with Teferi, so does the Sunset, as does any artifact that taps, such as like Timed Lotus. That's another fun card to play with Teferi. Um, Maybe I'll have to make a Teferi deck eventually. I just don't own any copies, so I have never gotten around to doing it. To populate, we're playing a full playset of these. This card is basically the go-to sweeper in white, right? So not as strong as Farewell, granted, but it does the job because it gets there a little bit earlier. So yeah, to populate, necessity to have like a full 4 copies of them. Emperor, an amazing planeswalker. Being able to remove your opponent's things, gain you life is actually quite huge. Works really well with Tamiyo because Tamiyo taps things and then Emperor can exile them. So that's a pretty disgusting combo. Especially if you get 2 Broker's Ascendancies down there, you can do that every single turn because you regain the -2 loyalty every turn, and then you're not losing any loyalty on Tamiyo because you're just +1ing. But yeah, this card's amazing. Expand the Sphere, we're playing 2 copies of these because these can help us ramp into the farewells and help clear out the lands out of our deck, which is kind of important later in the game. You don't really want to be drawing into lands with your notebook. So yeah, Expand the Sphere helps us clear out the land, but also can, in a pinch, if we have like Tamiyo out there and then we play Expand the Spheres, well, then we can double proliferate with Expand the Spheres and we can actually get that Tamiyo's notebook out there immediately. So that's the part of the thing with Expand the Spheres. This ability to proliferate can become relevant as well. Also can work if like we have creatures with +1s. That's also good. Yeah, right. And then Karn. Karn is a whole ton of fun. The emblem, the emblem is so weird. The emblem is a mess, but can be really fun if you can get it off. Um, yeah, I will warn you, if you emblem Karn, it is nowhere close to an insta win. It is nowhere close. Karn's emblem, despite being a lot of fun and silly, it's not actually that strong. And you really have to make sure you hold up the stop at the end of the opponent's turn, and you want to hold it up and do it at the opponent's turn. That is my tip for you. Do it on your opponent's turn because yeah, you can ping down whatever's on the board currently. Um, if you're gonna die, yeah, you obviously don't want to wait until the opponent's attack step or before their attack step if they have an attack trigger. to ping down whatever is relevant, but if you can, hold to your opponent's end step, because then you can get the most value out of it. Um, but yeah, it does produce damage, and it's a way to close out games. And then Karn's -1. Once you get the emblem, you don't need more than one emblem, because more than one emblem doesn't change the fact that you need one artifact to do one damage. So another emblem's not going to do anything. So you can just go ahead and start abusing Karn's -1 to tap all of your mana to find yourself another response to the opponent's board, or another planeswalker to keep powering through. So yeah, Karn, good fun. The -1 is probably where the most value you can get out of this card comes from, and that probably comes after you have Tamiyo, Tamiyo's Notebook. Assemble the Titans. This card is a ton of fun, and honestly, I think it's actually quite good in this deck. The ability to scry for is really good, and then the 2 and the 3 obviously can help you really get your planeswalkers ultimated immediately, or get your like notebook immediately. But the Scry 4 is really strong, because then you can go ahead. Oh, I need a Cankerbloom to blow up an artifact. Find it with the Urzas. Oh, I need a farewell the board. Well, find it with the Urzas. Um, yeah, I have to say, it was so funny when we were playing against the mono red deck. We scry 4, put all 4 to the bottom, and then we choose to reveal the top card, and it's a depopulate. That was too funny. But yeah, this card, particularly the second chapter and the third chapter, is where we're going to find the most amount of gas, but the Scry 4 is no joke. Being able to set up the top of your library, like plan out your next few turns, is very nice. And then Tamiyo, this card is amazing. The -7 is a huge value, like the probably the largest value out of this, but don't ever forget about that -X feature, because what you can go ahead and do is you can -X, get yourself a Wanderer, or get yourself a Karn, or get yourself a Staff, or get yourself a Broker's Ascendancy, or get yourself a Cankerbloom, or a Melira, because it says -X equal to the, or like X is equal to the mana of the non-land permanent in your graveyard. You exile it and create a token copy of that card. So this can help us dig through our graveyard to find relevant things. I guess we get -5 to get ourselves another Urza, which would be relevant. But yeah. Well, then the lands, the majority of our colors are white and green, so we're playing every land that has like green or white in them mostly, right? Besides these utility lands, which we did see come in handy. Iganjo, like we were able to hold it up there. Otawara, we were able to hold it up there. Boseiju, we didn't ever really use it, but in a pinch, it's good. Um, but like late game, Otawara can be the thing that prevents you from dying to a haste, or Iganjo, similar thing. So yeah, Spar's headquarters great for cycling. Um, but yeah, we're playing only two of the like the Razorverge Thicket and Seacrum Coast, because we want our lands to come in untapped later in the game, because we want to be able to almost guaranteedly depopulate when we hit our 4 lands. We want to almost guaranteedly hit, or on our 6th land, not have a tap land and sweeper. Like, we need to make sure that we hit these like late game drops more so than our early game drops. So we don't really want a land that's going to come in tapped as our 4th land, or our 5th land, or our 6th land. So that is the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. It helps out a ton. And have a nice morning, evening, night, afternoon, wherever and whenever you're watching. Ciao.